Okay, so I hope everyone is for Azure Fabric, Microsoft Azure Fabric. So we'll start with the class. Let's wait for another few minutes. So meantime, guys, please share your details in the chat box so that I'm going to forward you the course content. I hope everyone have a course content. If not, please share your details. I'm going to provide you the course content and the today's recording. With the practical today, we are going to see what is Fabric, what is capabilities, what is the capacities. We will cover in this one end of the session. So meantime, please provide your details. So anyone have any doubts or questions, you can ping me your messages or in the chat box. I'll answer all your doubts or questions once the class is complete. Okay. So let's be with me next 1-2 hours. So it will be more interesting. The class will be. So I
Sir,
hope everyone.
chat is disabled, sir. We are unable to share. Can you just open the chat, enable?
We are unable to share our details, sir.
1 second. Yeah, you can try it now.
Thank you, sir.
So meantime, let me give you my background. Already, I'm running multiple batches of Azure BA. Okay. Currently, we have multiple batches. Morning 7 a.m. we are running. 8 a.m. having a slot, and 9 a.m. I'm running it. This is we are newly planning for batch. Even we are running in the evening also. The from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. I'm running 2 batches for Azure BA. Okay, mainly we are focusing on that is data factory, data engineer concepts. So before going to start with the class, I just want to know, anyone know what is business intelligence? What is BI? So you have been heard about many tools. I think many of the people here from the Power BI background or some ETL background, the reporting background. Anyone know what is BI actually? What we do in the company? What is the use of the BA process? Anyone would like to answer it?
Yes, sir. Hey, this is Raman this side.
Yeah, Raman.
BI is nothing but it gives the insight from the visualizations. Let's assume if I get a visualization of bar and stack or any slicer, if I filtered out the slicer by marking the year as 2019, and in 2019 I could able to pull only the data for the other visualizations also. From that visualization, I'm getting some sort of insights. That insights will be using for the upper level of management and for the executives and for the end user, like customers for them.
So you have been said your end of the portion, like last part of the portion you have been said that.
It's Dipankar here.
Yes, Deepak.
BI is the process where we are converting data to logical visual, which help to business to provide or take the correct decision.
Decision. This is very important. Here is decisions. How we are going to help to the business based on some decisions. So for that we require entire thing is like process, the BA process. The part which you told is just the Power BI side. What about the back end? So BI is not only just a reporting part. BA also you have to think a back end process, not only in
Sorry.
terms of reporting. Yes, Tom.
About the storage.
About the storage, about the ETL, about the backend process, the data warehouse, databases. These all combinations comes under the BA process. So why the Microsoft Azure Fabric? Anyone know? I think if people have been gone through, sir, we are a Power BI developers. We need to know the fabric, right?
Cloud based.
Completely supports on cloud and it includes the AI as well.
Okay. Why not the Azure BA? You have Azure BA also?
Microsoft Fabric is now the latest trend going on where Microsoft collabing every each and every tool inside one platform where it will be helpful for developers, including client, to be licensing and getting multiple parts in one same place. So it's more of it's a package.
Moreover, it's packaged. Moreover, it's a centralized, uniformed. So this is kind of SaaS platform we call software as a service platform. The Microsoft Fabric is a software as a service platform. So let's talk about some basic. If you want to develop some business intelligence, so before going to that, let me tell you my background is like I'm almost have 12 plus year of experience in IT industry. So I'm completely with the Microsoft Powered by. I have was worked with the SQL, MSBI, the Azure BI, Data Factory, and Power BI, Databricks, Spark clusters I was worked, and right now we are taking our batches for Fabric. Okay, you can go and see my LinkedIn profile. You'll find details there. So I was worked with the Wipro. I was worked with IBM, and I'm working right now as a team lead manager in one of the company called Digital. So I'm working on some telecommunication project. So that telecommunication project, how it will be. So you will get to know with my students who is working in this multiple batches. Okay. So and we started this Fabric because there is a lot of things under the Azure Data Engineer. So we are earlier we were using Azure BI process for our services. Now Microsoft integrated everything inside of Microsoft Fabric. So I'll give you overview on that Microsoft Fabric, and practically I'll show you why we want to go with the Fabric, why for Azure. Okay, so both portals I'm going to explain in detail level today's session, so you'll get more idea. Okay, this is very free class, and that means like you can ask any sort of doubts, any sort of questions that whatever you have, I'm answer you. Okay, all right. So before going to this process, we need to understand why we are going for Microsoft Fabric. Why not we can do the data engineer? So now the Microsoft Fabric came in the last almost 2 to 3 years back. It was came in the market, but people not aware about that. So if you ask me, sir, how can I go as a 5 years experience or 10 years of experience in a Fabric? So Fabric is only the process. It came in the last 2 to 3 years back, but inside of Fabric components, we are still using it in your daily work. Some people are Power BI developer, they're using Power BI app, Power BI desktop. Some people are data engineer background, they're using Data Factory, they're using data storages, they're using data warehouse, they're using databases, they are using it. It is not like last 2 years it was developed. It was from last years that the process we are using it. Now, what Microsoft come across into that is Fabric with all the components, with all the features engaged and make one uniform processed. Everyone, data engineer process, data analyst, data scientist, everyone will come to this portal. That is your generally how you log into your app.powerbi.com. Same way you need to log into app.powerbi.com. There you can do your data engineer work. You can do your data analyst work, analysis work. You can do your data scientist. But that is data science your work. So for data engineer, you don't need to go separate portal. You don't need to pay separate costing. Let's take a basic example. Don't worry, I'm going to give you the slides and everything. So this is the overview architecture of your Fabric. This is how it looks like when you open the portal. So earlier, people are moving towards the separate components. When you talk about the Azure, when you log into the Azure portal, so how you can go into log in the Azure portal? There is a process called Power BI, the Azure.portal.azure.com. Okay, there's a portal.azure.com. So you need to log in into this page. Let me show you. This is how it looks like. Okay, this is a place where this is also a Microsoft product. Right now, we are using all the storages, data factory, ETL, separate each individually services. Each individually services we are using it. You are paying a separate cost for this one. You are paying separate cost for storages. You are paying separate cost for other databases, storages, data lakes. So what it was engaged here is everything merged into the single place. So you have a 10 years experience, yes, you can use it. You have a data engine experience, Synapse Analytics, you can use it. You have a data science, machine learning process, ML models, you can use it. You have a database background, it is engaged here. It is developed without having any separate installation process. You can use data warehouse concepts. On top of that, they added multiple Delta process, real-time analytics you can do, and at the same time, you can do the Power BI process. So people only know this part. Nowadays, no job with having a Power BI knowledge, nothing. What is you going to do there? Just reporting is not going to work. So what is happening in the background from where you are getting the data, that is more important. So having one skill, it is not going to work. Right now in the market, the situation is very tough. So many companies having the layoffs because having only one skill, what they're going to do that. So a fabric is a place where each and every people can come together and bring into one particular project with all the services. So example, like when you go to the restaurant, you have a separate billing for separate dishes. When you go for a particular amount, for example, there is a cost. When you go to the barbecue and all, you'll have a particular cost. Okay, 600, 700 with a full buffet. With having all the items, you can eat as many as. You don't need to pay separate cost for your separate biryani, separate dishes, separate this one. No need to pay for that. So Microsoft released with a concept called capacities. They released a concept called capacity. So earlier, if I want to develop here, let's suppose if I want to create any storages, or let's talk about some basic databases, or I just search here SQL database, Azure SQL database. This is a place I can create a service, separate service I'm creating it. You can see there's a costing here. The moment I give here some of Vinaytech resource group, if you observe here, I need to pay separate cost for Azure SQL database. And inside that, let me take Vinaytech SQL Server new. I'm just showing you the costing. Let's see here how the costing is. So each database costing you have to pay, whether you're going production server, whether you're going development server. For each costing, storages, data transactions unit, data integrations unit, each transactions you have to pay. Not only in terms of database, I'm talking about in terms of data factory, ETL, data modeling, everything. So what Microsoft come across is they called as a capacities. Okay, when you search here, the Microsoft what is that fabric capacity? Okay, fabric capacity. So in this Microsoft fabric capacities licensing. So Microsoft Fabric capacity licensing. So you can have multiple capacities and the multiple pricings based on. So generally people who come from the Power BI background, they know pro license, premium license. So don't worry about the how much costing also it will going to show you. So minimum when you create a free account of Fabric, it's going to use the minimum F64 capacity SK unit, stock exchange unit. Okay. So to create this one, we have a minimum required is free account. So with that Microsoft Fabric having 60 days of trial free version. So you can practice with that. So no cost that going to give you a capacity F64. So in that F64 capacity, you have multiple capacities. So you no need to purchase separate services. So what are the services are providing by your Fabric? So in a Fabric, if you observe here, in the Fabric, generally you can do many other services like data storages, data processing, that is data ETL. So data, as I said, data science process. Then you can do your data modeling. Then you can do some more data reports and some dashboard. So again, in these services, they have given multiple other services, like they have given the lake house. So you people who know the data lake, they easily understand the lake house. Okay, if you don't know what is the data lake house, I'm going to tell you. Okay, don't worry about it. So data lake house is a new concept they are implemented. If you see the earlier 90s, okay, let me show you the picture. Earlier 90s, what happened? Do we have any picture? Earlier, we was using in 90s is data warehouse concept, right? Now what happened? After that, we got the concept called data lake. So earlier 90s pictures, what we are doing, we have a standard structure. Okay, standard structured data like CSV file, TXT file, okay, some CRM databases or some databases, TXT, Excel, those files we have. Okay. Then what happened? That data to process in your databases, it required some ETL tools. Earlier, we was using some Informatica, SSIS model. Okay, with that standard tools, we are extracting it and processing to the data warehouse. From there, a standard modeling we are creating, and then top of that, we are doing our reporting. Then nowadays, the data is very huge. We call 3 V's: velocity, variety, volume. Okay, this is your big data concept. Sir, what is big data? I don't know about that. Don't worry. We will learn from scratch. Okay. So nowadays the data comes with the different formats. So earlier what we are planning it, whatever data is there, first get it into the first load based on the extraction process. Okay. First we extract and load, and we transform it, and top of that we're going to load the data into the database. Now the data is very huge. Data is coming from different places. Cloud, it is coming. Data is coming from the API. Data is coming from the applications. Data is coming from the unstructured format. Data is coming from semi-structured, any format. What nowadays the planning is, first we going to load the data. Okay, we are not going to do any transformation, guys. We're going to load first. Where we are going to load, as it is the raw data, natural data, we're going to load in the data lake process. We're going to load the data in the data lake process, because earlier it is a very costly system in terms of development. In terms of development, you need to extract what data is required for your analysis, because what client is going to see the data. Because when you develop the project, okay, you are developing a business intelligence project, means some insights to be delivered to the end user. If I am develop the supermarket, I invested a lot of money on supermarket. Okay, so what I end of the day, what I'll see, the products are getting sold, I'm getting generated revenue or not. So end of the day, they will see what kind of report you're generating it. And here, what kind of data we can store, we are pre-planning it. We are pre-planning it in this process, data warehouse process, we are pre-planning it. Now the data is coming in different formats. We are not planning it. We are just processing the data. We first processing the data. That is called a big data process. So workload, we call big data workload. So first load the data, then think what you want to do the process. Whether you want to do the data ETL processing, or then you want to do the data analytics by using directly, you can design the reports, or you can connect your ML model. You can use the AI applications directly to the data lake. So you have a lot of things inside a data lake. What is data lake? We're going to see in detail level. Okay. So here we are not pre-planning it. We are just processing, and then we are thinking what is required for the business. And accordingly, you are developing the reports. Now we got a model called data lake house model. In data lake house model, like it is a combination of both data warehouse concept and data lake concept. So same data lake, only on top of that there is a called delta lake, we call. There is a layer called delta lake which give you the acid properties. So what is this acid properties? Right now the people who have come from the non-technical, they may not know. So this is something like you are not going to get here as like a database format. Here is not going to get a database format. You cannot query it. You cannot query it directly. So here, and you have a lot of options here where you can treat like a data warehouse. You not require separate data warehouse. You can treat like a data warehouse, and you can write a SQL queries on top of that. So that features are there in your lakehouse, and a lot of other features also there. Transactions it supports, time duration it will support, time travel it supports. Okay, many other properties it support on data lake. So this is like open source technology. On top of that, we are using in Databricks. We are using in like nowadays we are using in your Azure also, and we are right now using in Fabric. It is integrated in Fabric. Okay, how to use that? I'm going to show you live right now. So before that, let's see here. So what providing data lake storage? Okay, so after data lake, there are other process like a data warehouse. So here you no need to create any sort of services for data lake. Okay, data warehouse. So inbuilt with a fabric, you are getting data warehouse. Along with that, generally when you develop a report, what you do, you go for a models, data modeling, right? What is the use of data modeling? Some properly assigned relationships between, you can create a star schema, some snowflake schema. You are keeping dimensions of fact table relationships between that to make your proper report executions. And then you are doing developing the Power BI on top of this. So Power BI also, it is integrated in your fabric. Okay. So how to use that? So for data lake, or there is a one more called the data injection. Okay. So for data injections, what is the data injection? Nothing but your ETL processing. So in ETL processing, again, they are given data factory included. There's a data factory is there. There is a data flow. Is there anyone know Power Query data flow? So
Yeah,
it is
I
similar
know
like
Power
your,
Query.
yeah, it is a similar like a Power Query process. So in Power Query, you can do some basic transformations, but here we can load the data also. In your Fabric, we can load the data also. And we have a notebooks, Spark notebooks. So Apache Spark or notebooks you can write on APIs like your PySpark. You can use PySpark, and you can use some SQL, you can use some Scala, some other R languages, you can use it. Okay, multiple options we have. So to process your data, okay, for a big data workloads, we can use the notebooks. So these all multiple options we have inside your data lake. So these all are migrated in one lake. These all are migrated into one single lake. We call that one lake. So if you remember, when you go to a company, you will get a OneDrive. Whenever you create Microsoft, you will get a OneDrive. So everything, your folders, images, everything you're going to store in OneDrive process. Now everything, whatever you do here, every company, so company have multiple applications. Example, company are going to work on supply chain, company work on supermarket, company work on multiple places. They can easily manage their data with a shortcuts inside your one lake storage. This is a one lake storage. Inside that, everything you can manage. This is a newly concept it is Intel, and but backend it was saved inside your data lake only. Remember this point. Backend it used the data lake Gen 2 process only. So what is data lake Gen 2? What is one lake? In detail we'll see. Okay. Now let's coming back to your lakehouse. So here, as I said, lakehouse you can store any format of data, whether is a your files, structure files, your CSV files, sorry, CSV file, TXT files, or your Excel files, your audio, videos, your images. Okay, anything you can store inside your data lake. That is nothing but your equivalent to your data lake house. Okay, so it is engaged with your data lake house. So in data warehouse, we need to store a table format, a structure format. Okay, in the structure format, we need to process your data in form of dimensions or fact table or other formats. Okay, for ETL, we are using the data factory. ETL processing, very beautiful tool. Nowadays, lot of demand. So you no need to go separate service in your Azure portal. Okay, so almost we are talking about data factory in Azure data engineer process. So you no need to go separate portal. So directly you can log into your app.powerbi.com or app.fabric.com. Okay, fabric.microsoft.com. So people who have already account with a Power BI, you can use here. You need to just convert it to your Fabric account. That is a free trial account. So it looks like a similar like your Power BI services, Power BI app services. But here additionally it was given here as fabric capacities. So you no need to purchase a separate capacity where we are purchasing in your this one, what we call in Azure, to develop a project. We are creating a database separately, data factory separately. Now everything you will get in a form of work items. Okay, so for that we need to develop one workspace. So you have a multiple workspace, everything you're storing under the one lake process. So this is my workload item. So what is a workload item? Whatever you required, whether you required your data engineering process, your data factory, your data science, your Synapse databases, analytics, your Power BI real-time queries, everything you can engage, you can migrate in one single workspace, in one single tool. You don't need to go or find out for separate services where you have in your Azure portal. So earlier what happened, as I said, right, you are for a Power BI, you are using separate portal, and for data engineering is separate portal, you are using it. Okay, separately, and also costing also is separately, you are paying it. It is a costly. And here you need to use either the pro license or a premium license, right? Premium license you have to use. Even if I want to process your data for data engineering, data factory, databases, data storages, everything. Once you need to get it, everything is ready, then only we can go for a services called for reporting. Now you no need to do anything, simply in one single place, whenever you are getting any data from any sources systems. So on premises, you have a databases, multiple storages. But here in your data systems, whether you are extracting the data through the data factory, or you are storing the data in your data lake. From the data lake, we can do a data warehouse. From the data warehouse, you can do the modeling, and from the modeling, you can do the reporting part. So this is how from the various sources system, whether it's your CRM model or your CRM sources, your unstructured format data, your structured format data, by using your data factory is very, very important tool, and it is very, very useful tool. Guys, nowadays, lot of huge market. If you have a combination of reporting knowledge and the ETL knowledge, lot of jobs right now. If you know Fabric, it is very, so again, I'm saying Fabric is recently last 1 or 2 to 3 years back it came, but our technologies was from last 10 to 15 years. So if you want to go with the Fabric, you need to go have a knowledge on these technologies. Okay, so you can load this data in your data lake house. Okay, and you can process this data by using your data flow concept. You can do the data flow concept. As I said, your Power BI query, Power Query. So we call here as data flow concept. Okay, that we call here as data flow concept. By using data flow, you can load. Once your data came into your data warehouse, you can process this data again back to your modeling. What is that modeling? So modeling is nothing but you're developing some data models. Okay, here you can develop some data models. The data models are nothing but your star schema, snowflake schema. Okay, star or snowflakes, some snowflakes you can use, and from there you can develop by connecting your reports, Power BI reports, and this everything you can do inside your Azure. Okay, this modeling earlier what happened while extracting the data. Okay, here what we are doing, extracting, we transforming it, and we are loading this data, which is picking from the data from the CRM portals. You are taking a data from the unstructured format or JSON format or API format or cloud, wherever the data is, or databases. So in this case, what we are doing separately, earlier, as I said, you need to take a separate cost for this one. Okay, separately, we are taking this model for data engineering. People, what they're doing, they're going for separate portal. And for data modeling and this one, they are using separate portal, right? For even for the data machine ML model also, they are using separate portal. So you don't require all these things to be go and separate and manage for separate costing also. Company got easy to manage. Everyone can work ML models and easily to extract, transform, and load it. Okay, you don't need to do everything is came across in your Microsoft Fabric. Okay, so this all model can be done inside your Fabric. You don't require separate Azure account. You don't require separate Power BI account. This is all we can do, we can achieve in single model called Fabric account. Okay, Fabric capacities, Fabric capacity of Fabric account. So easy to manage. So not only in terms of your Azure storages, cloud storage, any storages, there is a connectivities we have, there is a link services we have, predefined link services. Even for your data modeling, they are using some Spark also for processing your big data queries. You don't require separate teams. So people are nowadays, they are using some Databricks. What is the use of Databricks now? This everything is migrated inside your Fabric. The same notebooks I can develop here. The same kind of notebooks I can write it here. You don't need to go separate Databricks concept also. So nowadays people are asking Databricks. Why? When I say why you required to do your Databricks workload for there, you're using Databricks, Apache Spark clusters. You can do everything in the Fabric. So single capacities. Okay. So when you create a free account, F64 they are going to give you, and followed by you can change this accordingly. So again, one more thing here. So whenever you have an account, so you can create a free account for this one. And what happens? This can be created from the Azure portal also. In Azure portal also, you can create this process. Okay, let me show you that. So this all to be created under the one workspace, one project. Okay, in Azure portal, we are calling as here we are calling as resource group. In terms of Fabric, we call here as workspace. In terms of Fabric, we call as workspace. People who are from background Power BI, they know what is workspace. So here we're going to add a workspace. Let's see how to do that. So I can show you in this one. So here we are creating a project, Data Factory project. Okay, ETL project. Simply by creating, this is the Azure portal. We are not talking about the Fabric. Now I'll show you the Fabric also. Okay, so this is your Azure portal. Let's create how to do. So first, let's come across the Azure portal. We'll do some basic data engineering process. Then I'll show you the Fabric so that you'll have a difference. Sir, what is the difference? Then you can ask me. Okay, so let's talk about first basic what we are doing in standard models. Right now, what we are doing, how companies are running on this one. Okay, so that is what, if you have a knowledge, that is what my morning students are asking, sir, Fabric came in the market, lot of jobs on Fabric. I have a knowledge on Azure, Data Factory and all. So how come? Yes, you can go for a Fabric, not a problem. Having experience with your data engineer experience, already you are learning the Azure BI, already you are learning the Power BI, with a combination, you can go Fabric. Okay, so all right, so let's see how to do that. So in the on-premise, this Azure portal, so you need to have a portal, portal.azure.com. So this is a free account. It will give you Microsoft $200, which is around 17 to 1800 USD INR credits. Okay, in INR rupees, 16 to 17,000 credits in INR. You cannot withdraw this amount, but you can use it. What you can use is you can order a product. How you will order a product in your Amazon, Flipkart, clothing, gadgets, mobiles. Here also you need to order a product. What product? The product may be anything. The product may be a data lake. The product may be a data factory. The product may be your data flow, the notebooks, Databricks, anything. That is a product. That is a software that we are ordering through portal. So here also we are ordering the product. So where you want to order, in for which project you want to order. So there are multiple subscription, guys, in Azure. In terms of Azure, you have a multiple subscription. Okay, let me talk about the Azure subscription. So you have Azure portal. In the Azure portal, you have two to three types of subscription. Like how you're going to create a Power BI or Fabric account. Similarly, Azure have also free account, which Microsoft giving you $200. As I said, in Indian currency, you can call based on the dollar rate, 17 or 18,000, but it always considered through in your dollar rate only. Okay, and you have a premium account that is currently I'm using, that is a pay as you go. There's a monthly subscription which management is going to pay this amount for this one. Okay, but in companies we use only pay as you go, no free account. In a Fabric also, we don't use free account in a real time. Okay, we use capacities. Different type of capacities. I'll show you how the capacities. Let me show you the other account. Let me log into the other account so you'll get to know what is the capacities. So here I'm creating Fabric. Here also you can create a Fabric. So you slightly get confused, sir. Fabric portal is different. Yes, definitely Fabric portal is different. You can create and you can log in with this account, their Fabric account. Okay, Fabric login, you can do that. So you can see there's a capacities, the charges. Here individually charges. If I create, you use or you don't use, you have to pay for this one. Okay, that is my Vinetech resource group, a project, nothing but a kind of project. The group, resource group is nothing but a project. So this is my dev ADF pipeline. Okay, ADF some number I'm giving it. Let me take Vinetech ADF test. Okay. Right. So what is the version 2? Going further, we'll see. I'm going to cover this as well in real time in regular classes. This is very, very important, guys. If you know this one, it get added in your Power BI advantage, because as I said, right now, very tough to get a market for a going individual tool. It is not going to work. You have to understand how to develop the data models. You have to understand how to work with the data flow and how to connect your notebooks, data models. Okay. And data lake also, we can do on top of, as I said, delta lake process. You can write a queries. Just be with me. I'm going to show you that as well. Okay. It will be more interesting. So let's see here. My service is created. I ordered the product. What product I ordered? I want to ETL product. From Azure, I order it. Can you see for my project? What I required to develop this project, I required database, I required sources, storages, data warehouse, data lake. This is all I want. Let's add it one by one. So here is my data factory. This is the place where we're going to do the development of data factory. It is a similar kind of product is added in your Fabric. So here you are creating a resource group. Can you see here? I'm creating a resource group here. I was created one resource group. The resource group is named, my project name is Vinetech _ resource group. Can you see the similar kind of thing? Can I go and create in the Fabric? Yes. That is called workspace. Okay. Now see here. So if you want to load the data, what you're going to do? You're going to create a data pipeline. You're going to load the data pipeline. So where do you want to load the data? Data I want to load from the data lake. I want to load to SQL database in the table. For that, I want to develop one pipeline. Yes, definitely you can do that. You can use a copyleft activity. You have a storage. Can I have a storage? Let's leave about this Fabric right now. We'll talk about this one pipeline we'll develop and we'll back to the Fabric. Okay. Let's see here. So that you'll get a more clarity between the Azure and the Fabric. Okay. So here I'm creating a storage account. This is a data lake storage account I'm creating. This is my data lake storage account new. Okay. So I'm going to create a data lake storage account. Okay. What is all this option? Don't worry right now. Don't worry right now. This is kind of backup. So see, we are virtually creating it. We are virtually creating what is happening back and we don't know. Even if you go your Google Drive, G Drive, they are giving you 15 to 10 GB data. Do you know where they are storing the data actually? Anyone know where they are storing? Sir, there is a Google data centers are there. They are storing it. Okay. There's a data center. Google data center is there. It's okay. But where you want to store your data? Here we are selecting the locations. And in case whatever it is happened to this location, who is responsible for that? Because I am working for my client. I am working for a client. My client data is very precious. If it is on premises, I am going to tell my other team, boss, please take a backups. Please take a backups. If my DBA team is there, I'll ask to them to take a backups. But we are talking about in a cloud. When you are creating a storages, who is going to work on a backups? So here, that is what Microsoft given the redundancy policy. You can store in different areas. Locally means, let's suppose you are working in India. You're working in India. You're storing the data in India. So in local area like Chennai, Goa, Mumbai, Hyderabad, in different places, in different states, they're going to store 3 copies of data. Okay, they're going to store 3 copies of data. 3 copies of data. Same data they're going to store in the 3 copies of data. So when talk about the locally, if you have a data center in India, they will store in 3 different racks. 3 copies. When talk about the geographically, they're going to store nearby country. What is the China nearby country to our India? So there they'll store 3 copies of data in that track. So it is again premium because you are going for other country, other region. If this is a zone wise, as I said, if it's zone wise, if you go for India, there are multiple states. In multiple states, 3 copies will be stored. So that is what, if you go here and search, always use a Microsoft portal, guys. Don't go any blocks. Just see what is that redundancy, right? Let me show you the redundancy copies of data. So this is the type of accounts we have. Redundancy. So Azure storage what is that redundancy? Okay, always prefer .microsoft.com. Don't go for any blocks. So every day it keep on update because backend it is working. So Microsoft keep on update from the portals. Okay, you can see I talk about the locally. Locally means in the same data center there is a 3 copies of data they maintain. Because backend whatever it is happened, still you have 2 copies. And again, if I talk about zone wise, as I said, multiple locations. In India, you have a state, multiple states they maintain. One is in Chennai, one is Goa, one is Bangalore. 3 copies of data they maintain. If we talk about zone wise, they maintain 3 copies of data again. Sorry, 3 copies of data, but other zone, secondary zone, 3 copies of data. Sorry, this is geography, right? Yeah, 3 copies of data it maintains again in other regions. So this is how it works. Don't worry about that. In detail, we are going to discuss in coming classes. But right now, we'll see the locally. Okay. So why I'm creating? Just to process your data, just to get the data from here and just to load it. And same thing we'll see in the Fabric, how it easy, how with the same single workspace you can develop it without having any other prior services. Okay. So let's see here. So just click on create. That's it. That's it. Okay. So what you want to do? So you in Data Factory, there are a lot of connectors, guys. Similarly, there was added in the Fabric. So that is what the people come from the background, data engineer background, data reporting background. They have experience. So if you directly keep on experience on Microsoft Fabric 10 years, that won't work. You have to keep a module-wise module in your resume. 5 years experience in Fabric, 5 years experience data engineer in Data Factory, then a few years in the reporting side. Then this all combinations we come across with a project called Fabric. Like this, you can need to keep in your resume to get it highlighted. Okay. All right. Let's see here. My service is created. Can I upload the files? Yes. Oh, sorry, it is not converted to data lake. No problem. Let me use it. So this is my source data. This is my source data. And here is my target data. There are 2 folders I'm creating. This is called a container. If you ask me what is container, I'll tell you in detail. Don't worry. So on the high level, I'm talking about in this session because it takes a lot of time because if I explain, it takes more time. Okay, we'll do it one by one. Okay, don't worry. So in this one, you can do upload option also. You can do automation option. Lot of things you can do here. Okay. So what I want to do, let me go through this portal. Here I'll upload. Course contains some raw data, demo data. Can I upload this file? Yes, definitely. You can upload this file, no problem. So my requirement is to process all this data to the target. Here I want to process by using your Data Factory. Very simple. So simply, what is your connections? Your data lake connection. Source is your storage. See, this is what I'm talking about, connectors. Even you people have not gone through this many connectors. These are all our storages right now we have in the market. We are only working with the Microsoft products compatibility. Okay, but still, if your data is in different locations, we need to bring it. That is your job of data engineer. Your job is to, wherever the data is there, you need to bring the data, you need to process. Otherwise, this team is not going to develop a proper report. So this team only going to work on the Power BI side. But right now they are asking for data engineers. That is what, if you don't have time, then okay. If you have just reporting, develop and automated, why they are going to pay lakhs of salary to these developers? Here, everyday work, everyday solutions, everyday issues. Okay, everyday work we have here. I'll show you that. Okay. So my data is in, where is my data actually? The data is in the container, data in the storages. Okay, I'll just search here blob storage. Data is here. Very simple. What format it is? See, multiple formats. In earlier models, 90s, I told you, right? always we prefer from standard data. Now what we are doing, we staging it here in this data lake. We are not pre-planning, we are not pre-planning it. We stage first data, then plan it what transformation you want to do, where you want to load, you do it later stage. So first we land our data here. Landing is very important. Landing, how you're going to do the landing? By using your data factory, by using your notebooks, Databricks notebooks, or by using your data flow concept. How you're going to do that? That is more important, landing. So here we are doing with the data factory. I'll show you other methods also, okay? So this is my source, very simple. Source data set. And here is target data set, okay? This is my connections, this is my connection, this is my storage account, that's it. Source is ready. So this is my source. I'm having a source data sum, the recordings, the country-wise data, okay? And where you want to load this data, I need to copy this data to another blob storage. In which format? It's semi-structure, unstructured, which format you want. Let's suppose unstructured, okay? Where you want to copy this unstructured or semi-structured format in the target. Simple. So structure to semi-structure or semi-structure to unstructured, anything. Data may come from any format. You have to be ready for that. Okay, just execute. Very, very simple model, very, very simple pipeline, data pipeline. So this name was given in your Fabric is data pipeline. Very, very simple model. Okay, I'm just executing it. Let's see the output. So it is started. And you need to pay separate cost for running this process. Remember this point. You need to pay separate cost for running this process. That is called data integration unit. So you see here, when you click on, when you go to the service, it is charging the amount some $0.25 per hourly basis, and how much data workload you have. Costing, definitely it will cost your cost when you go with the Fabric. The advantage of the Fabric is costing cut, easy to manage, all services together. It has made as uniform services. Okay, see, it processed it successfully. There's a load is processed from here to here, and some 61 record. Can I see in different format it is to get? That is on JSON format. And now once you get a JSON format, again you need to convert from JSON to other format, right? When you hit your APIs, anyone know APIs, URL, you get the data from the URLs also sometimes. So the data comes mostly from the JSON format. So this data you have to load in the databases. If I give this data to the Power BI team, will they do? Sir, we have a connectors. You'll simply ask me, you have connectors. Okay, one time you can do. On daily basis, if I give you 100 files, how are you going to do that? If I give you each file, you have millions of records. Is it possible your Power BI developer can do that? That is what we are now doing the picture. We first land here and then we process it. Now let's come back to your Fabric. The similar kind of we're going to cover the same process in your Fabric. So as I said, in Azure account, we have a free and pay as you go process. Pay as you go process, that is monthly basis billing, okay? Which you no need to worry about it. This in when we go with the companies, they use it, but we use practically for this one we work, okay? Free account. Now let's talk about your Fabric. Same thing, we're going to create a Fabric account, Microsoft Fabric. It just required your domain account, okay? Domain account, that is your account is required. It not work with the Gmail or Outlook account, but yes, you need to create for Gmail and Outlook. Then you need to create a domain account, which is on.microsoft.com. Okay, you need to create that account. So here Microsoft giving you a free trial that is for 60 days, and you here only for 1 month, that is 30 days. Okay, on top of this one, you can create a Fabric account, which is give you 60 days, 2 months with a capacity called F64 capacity. F64 capacity. So now you can tell me, sir, F64 capacity, how much cost it is using it. So here you have shown me $200 USD is giving you for 1 month. So for free trial, how much cost it is? F64. Let me show you that. So if you go creation of account, let me show you the here. Let's back to the Fabric. So don't worry, don't need to create from this account. No worry. I'll show you the step-by-step process, the creation process. We have a document properly. So the services document, what we are covering it. and the step-by-step creation process also we have with the document. Okay, don't worry, you no need to create anything. So go and follow the step-by-step how to create the accounts. So you have a account. Okay,
It is F64 or 46, sir. You mentioned 46.
F64. I mentioned F40. Sorry, F64. Okay. So here you have a free account process. Step by step, you can go through how to create, how to process each and everything. You have a step-by-step process. Once it is created, one sandbox you need to create, which is a developer kind of process. Once it is done, you can log in with a Fabric account, okay, by providing these details. Okay, and you need to enable the Microsoft Fabric capacities, free trial. Otherwise, there is one more process is there. By using your account also, you can do that Microsoft Fabric capacities. Okay. So this is your Microsoft capacities. Once it is created, you will get this way. Okay, you need to enable the free trial of Microsoft Fabric. So similar like how you create a Power BI account, similar way you need to enable the Microsoft Fabric account. So very simple, very easy to manage, very easy to access, mostly UI based. So in one time you may not see. So we're going to give you recordings as well. Okay, so easy to manage. Okay, so 60 days it give you a trial version. Okay, and you no need to go for a premium after completing 60 days. You need to have separate account. Okay, you can create one more domain account and you can create anytime. You can log in, log out. I mean the subscription, you can anytime you can cancel it and you can move to the capacity, high capacity for premium or pro with the units of multiple units. Okay, this is a free trial, which is by default it is more useful. 64, you can do a lot of things. And here the important is like other in Azure, you cannot pause the services. In other services in Azure, when Azure portal, you cannot pause the services. Very rarely have a service which have pause button in real time. Here, capacity you can pause it. Not for a free trial. Free is anyway is giving you free. But for when you go to the premium, you can go as per your uses. Pay as you go. How much you can use it. If you are not using an item, just pause it. Just pause the services. Just pause the services. So that will help you, because what happened, this capacity works on two things. This will charges on basis on two things. One is the storages based, which is mostly on this capacity which work capacity. Okay, what is that capacity? It mostly work on storages and compute power. Okay, what is the compute power? Nothing but kind of your resources like CPUs, memory, input output units, IOs, and what is the other things? Some other components are there, and along with storages like GB's data, how much GB are using it. Every 1 GB you have some basic amount, very rare amount we have, but mostly the charges will be applied on capacities, compute power, nodes we call. So here, similarly it is asking you to do that. Let me show you practically. So let's log in here. So you can directly create from this one. Okay, you can allocate your capacity name. You can give a capacity name, and you can change your capacity from minimum to maximum. So this is comes under your dollar. It is showing in the Indian rates. Okay, it is basic capacities. So from F22, you can use your capacity how you want till F64. But right now you're getting this F64 in your free trial. So you no need to pay any amount right now. No need to pay. You can use 60 days free trial, practice this, work it similar. I'll explain the project, everything I'll do in the real time. Okay, whatever I'm working in telecommunication project, that project I'm going to help you. Oh, all right. So once it is created, you need to log into your app.powerbi.com. This is the place. This is a place, log in with the portal, and you can see this is a Power BI portal. So you need to convert this portal to which one? Fabric. You can see the moment you click here, you will get all the components. So here it is a free of Fabric. It's look like the UI interface, and you need to create your project. How you created a project in your Azure? You created a resource group. You created a project. Here we need to create in a component called workspaces. workspace. Now you can see my settings here. This is 49 days left for free, and I'm having a free trial subscription. Okay, this is another way of creating the subscription, because generally in company, what happened when you go to the Azure account, they maintain one Azure account. Inside Azure account, they will create a sub accounts. See here, they will create a users. So you can create a user so that you'll get Microsoft Intra ID. That is nothing but a Microsoft One dot. You'll get a domain ID. With that, directly you can go and connect with a Fabric account for the 60 days. So I created one user. With that user, I'm logging in. So if you want one more user, you can create one more. You can create as many as users under one tenant ID. What is tenant ID? Nothing but one account. Okay. So don't worry. Now you will be getting confused if I show you the picture of tenant ID process. Let me show you that. So tenant ID process will be like this. So you have this picture. In one tenant ID, one organization have multiple capacities. Okay. So one tenant ID have multiple capacities. So one, you can create one users. On top of that, you can assign one capacity. And inside one capacity, you can have multiple projects. That is nothing but a workspaces. So like this, it maintains. So now we are using under one user, we are creating one capacities. Okay, already it is assigned to one basic capacity. Now I'm creating a project. What is the project? The process, the new workspace. Provide your workspace name. This is my Vinay Tech workspace. Okay, Vinay Tech demo workspace. Okay, and we can similarly have a same process what we are using for Power BI. The access rule, the level of security, everything you have in detail, similar like your Power BI. Okay, just click on apply. So it's going to create a project. Inside a project, now you can add, everything is added here. Added means it is not added, you need to add what you required for your project. My data engineer project I required is all information. Okay, I required everything. Earlier, what happened when I'm going with the Azure portal, I have to create individually. Not create, you can manage everything in one single capacity. Your workspace having under one single capacity. Now you can add your work items. This is the favorite items. You can add as many as items. You want to create some jobs, you want to create data pipeline, data flow, Gen 2 streaming, your data warehouse, notebooks, Snowflakes, whatever you required, you can create from the single capacity, not required for payment for separate services, individual services. That everything will comes under the single Fabric capacity. Okay, so what we want to do, let's create the lakehouse. How to create? Simply search your lakehouse, or you can have, I already have added in the favorite because I'm using the recent, this one I have added it. Okay, you can use the lakehouse process.
Sir, I do
What's
have
the
a quick question regarding here.
Yes.
In that also Fabric we will be buying separately, or it comes under as a default option, as we were buying from the Azure every option, like for the warehouse, for the data lake.
Not required. All services are included in your
Fabric account.
Fabric only. You don't need to go for the separate cloud services. Everything is there in your Fabric only. Okay. All right. So, but in case, sir, my requirement is there is a Azure also is there, Fabric also is there. Can I get the data from Azure to Fabric? Yes, definitely you can get. If my data is on premises, if the data is on premises, from there also can I get it to the data lake? Yes, you can get. So wherever you want, you can get the data. So everything, every day we have a case studies. Okay, every day I'm going to show you the case study. Case studies is practically, I'll show you with different requirements how to do. This is the overview I've given the model. Every day we see the practical with the multiple requirements so that you can easily work in interviews also. Okay, all right. This is my data lake house for Vinay Tech. For Vinay Tech project, for Vinay Tech demo project. Okay, let's create it.
Moreover, do we get the opportunity to learn the data factory, data lakehouse, ADF, Synapse from scratch if we took the Fabric?
Exactly. So everything, first I'll cover the portal. Everything I'll cover again. The same copy of picture I'll show you in the Fabric. So you will have more grip. Okay, first I'll cover this picture, then I'll cover the fabric. If people, what they do, they directly go and they'll explain the fabric. Anyone know like how the Power BI came in the market or the Data Factory came in the market?
Yes, sir, because of just MSBI, Microsoft Business Intelligence.
So earlier tool was, there is a component like SSIS, SSRS, SSIS. Now Microsoft released, there is a tool called for SSIS. Their standard tools are released in Cloud Data Factory. For analysis, they use the Synapse Analytics, and then SSRS they used like a Power BI. Similarly, now the Azure came in the market on the replace of Fabric Azure with a capacity. It is not replace. It is a similar. They both are in Microsoft product only, but the capacity, the storages, everything is migrated in one single place called Uniformed. One SaaS platform they are given. Software as a service. These are all platform as a services. They are given everything in a single unit. Fabric. Okay. Let's see here. So you can store this data lake, whether of files, whether you can store the tables also. Let's example, let me create, I'll show you practically a new folder. In that, I'm going to add my data or sample data. Some sample data. Inside sample data, I'm going to upload the data. So how you going to upload data? Either multiple options. You can upload the data going to right here. As I said, data going to get it directly in your what we call some places, or you can get the data through OneLake also. There's a concept called OneLake. How to create? Very simple. You can just go and download the OneLake also. Here there's an option called OneLake. So in your system, you have a similar like your OneDrive. Okay. From there also you can upload the data. It's like a folder-wise managed system. Okay. Right now I'm going to upload a files. What files? Let me show you that. A single file I'm uploading it, or you can add as many as files. Is up to you. What you want to do, upload it. Okay. So now, sir, I want to read this data. How you can read? So simply you can click on that. So this is not looking good. Okay, I can read it, but I want to apply some queries. I want to get only the USA data. I want to see the only USA data. So how you can do that in the data lake. So earlier data lake doesn't have the delta lake process. Sir, what is this delta lake process? So on the delta lake, on the data lake, there is a layer is added called delta lake, which brings open source technology, open source framework, we can say, on top of data lake. It was developed as a delta lake to perform your SQL queries, manage tables easily. So it is not going to store, it is going to virtually or logically it store the data, but we can access it. How to do that? Let me show you. So very simple. Here I am just going to load. You can see the delta lake. I'm just loading this data to the table. What is a table? Country wise data. Okay. And right now, guys, Microsoft given comma separated and some other format. So it not support every form. Maybe in coming updates, you'll get all the formats. Okay, no problem. You can see I have processed my data, which is there in my data lake. On top of that, I have added my delta table. So what is delta table? In detail, we'll discuss, guys. Okay, don't worry. Again, I'm saying in 1 hour class or 2 hour class, everything cannot be covered because it is very important. You people have to explain every process, every component inside your fabric. Means just give some more time. I'll explain all the detail, all your queries, questions, everything I'll cover. Okay. All right. So this table, which is in a form of files, I'm going to read this data very easy way. Now you can see I got a table. Now I am going to read this table. It's look like a separate table, right? Now I want the data as user. How to do that? Very simple model called, right now you are in the lake house. You have a file. How the data is coming here? The data is coming through this file in your delta table. Whatever you changes you do here, it reflects to your delta table. So in delta table, again, there is a separate concept like logins, transactions, other topics are there. We'll discuss in detail. Now I want to query it. My requirement is to query it, to view the data. Very simple. There is a semantic model. Sorry, not semantic. There is a SQL analytics endpoints. Without having installation of SQL Server on the fly, you can analyze this data. So simply click here. Simply click here. This is also data lake only, but it's the interface which changed. in your Fabric. Now you got an interface that in this table, where is my table? Where is my table? Okay, we created with the object schema. Inside that there's a table. Now I am going to query this. Here there is an option called new query selection. Now what I want to do, select. How you will write a select query? What is it? Country table. That's it. Now you can see I'm going to execute now. How easy we can manage. It is executing now. It is running the data. See all the data. Now you want to see the analysis. I want to see the data. Country-wise sales I want to do. I can do easily, simply country-wise. Country-wise, what is that? Sum of how to write. So guys, sir, what languages we use here? There may be having a question in your mind. What languages we use, sir, in a Fabric? Can you please tell me? Yes, definitely I'll tell you. So there is no hidden here. So in Fabric, to be tell you here, we use for SQL for your querying or some basic logics we're going to implement by using SQL queries. Okay, and there's a DAX will be used. I hope you people know who come from the Power BI background. In a Power BI, they require some DAX functions, and even in the data flows also some level we require some basic DAX. Don't worry, very very basic. Now you got a Azure, what we call Copilot also there. There's a Copilot intelligence are there. There's a chat GPT is there. Many expressions inbuilt automatically it is giving you. You need to just give a command automatically like the writing it. And again, we're going to cover that there is a notebook is there. SpicePark notebooks are there. So in that notebooks, by using some what is that Python libraries we call. So you don't require Python language. At least basic you need to know what is a PySpark. Okay, at least we need to write some basic PySpark. So I'm going to give you a comparison that will also. So how to implement? If you know SQL, PySpark is very easy. So there is a comparison. I have already prepared it. Let me show you that. There's a comparison. Okay, what is a SQL and PySpark equivalent? Okay, how you write a SQL query in a SQL server and how you write in a PySpark. Very simple queries. Okay, so very very simple. How you select in your SQL server and how you get here. Very simple PySpark. Sir, what is the use of this one? Why are you using the notebooks? Why can't you do directly through Data Factory? Yes, Data Factory through we can do, but there is a Spark. There's a Spark application is there, which help you to process your big data query. Okay, big data workload you can say. So big data workload means, let's suppose if you are going with a bike for a market, 1 or 2%, if you are going it to the market, you can ride your bike. For 1 or 2, it will capacity is okay. If your people are going 5 to 6 members, if you're going somewhere, 5 to 6 people are going somewhere. So what happened? It required a car. So similarly for a Spark big data queries, if you are writing it, you required big data queries. That is a Spark application. Inside it works based on some clusters that I'm going to show you later. Okay. So right now we will be comparing with the PySpark. All right. So don't worry about that. In a Fabric, we'll discuss all these things. So now let's come back on data lake, how we are writing this query. So similarly, like a basic SQL is required. So on top of that, amount is nothing but your revenue. Okay, and group by country. Okay. Okay, simply I'm running this query. So easy to manage. From a file you can read, and you can use some delta tables on top of your data lake, which a kind of layer, okay, which help you to bring your like easy to work like a data warehouse concept. Okay, now similarly you can use this data to wherever you process. Okay, so let's see. Now this is my one of the component called in your lakehouse. Where is my workspace? Here in my workspace you can see this is my lakehouse. So let's go back again, lakehouse. Or you can go, if you don't know, sir, I don't know how to write a queries. Okay, you don't know how to write a queries, no worries guys. There is a concept called, so there is a concept called, there is one more option called SQL endpoints. when you go to the SQL endpoints, Microsoft giving you to build your own queries, editor. So when you go here, where is that? A new visual query. You no need to worry about that. You just need to drag and drop that table. Okay, just select the table and drag and drop. So whatever you want to do here with this, you can write a query. So I mean, you no need to write a query. It automatically builds. Okay, it automatically build your queries. So when you want to filter it, you can do like a work here, or you can add here and you can do whatever the operations you want to do, filter it, rows, or you can directly from here also you can manage. Only I just want USA data. I'll pull it and I'll click OK. Now I want to order here data. I want to order based on some operations. I'll simply click on filter or order it. Okay, where is the order options? Multiple options we have, uppercase, lowercase, length, many other options we have. Easily you can manage. And what happened is all are writing backend. See the steps, how many steps I'm adding it? It's adding in the steps, multiple steps. And if you want to see the script of this one, you can see a view script. See, this is equivalent to SQL queries. You can prepare a view for that. If I go here, let me create a new visual query again. I can paste that what query was built here. I can run this one also. See how easy to manage in data lake process, data lake warehouse process. Now same data I want to load in the data warehouse. My data is ready. I have queried it. I have used some Spark. I have used some Delta tables. I have queried it, but I want to load this data to the data warehouse. Now I'm going to use a concept called data flows. I'll use a concept called data flows, data factory, notebooks. I'll use it now. So similarly, how you use in Power BI? Similarly, let's go back to your workspace. Now I'm going to add one more item. The item is my data flow. So this data flow is for loading the data from your data lake house to data warehouse. Okay, let's create. Or there is a multiple channels, multiple services, we can do that. If you don't want, you can do other. You remember this is like a Power Query, which is there in your Power BI.
Yeah, why we don't use Gen 1? Why we use Gen 2?
Gen 1 comes under the data factory. So in data factory, you have a concept called data lake Gen 1. So it is a outdated, like we have many other features in the data lake Gen 2. So similarly, we have data factory data version 1. And then it come across data factory version 2 because it is outdated and we have a lot of features inside your data factory Gen 2. Similarly, data flow Gen 2 right now it is using it. Okay, maybe you're going to uncheck those components from the fabric also. Okay, all right, similar things, but I added many other features. Now, where you want to get the data from? I want to get the data from, okay, get the data from your sources connections. Either from the One Lake. One Lake is the main organization where you can manage everything projects. These all my other lakes, which is from the other workspaces, multiple other workspaces. Or I want from the recent connection, this is my lake process. Sorry, this is not this one, right? All right, so let's cancel it. We will create our another connection. That is my lake house. So where is the lake house? Okay, these are the many connectors we have right now. Okay, let's take the data from the data lake house. Okay, and click next. So your workspace is Vinaytech demo workspace. Here we have a lakehouse, and inside lakehouse we have a file. Okay, from the sample file we have a country file or number of files, however you want. You can click on create. So similar kind of process can be done inside your data factory in bit movement. I'm going to show you all. Okay, all right. So here you can do a lot of operations like generally how we manage in your Power BI for your data for reporting purpose. Now here managing for the data engineer purpose. Okay, So this is not a first row as header, so I can change, I can do a lot of other transformations. Where is the transformation? There is transformation. So I am just treating this first row as a header. Okay. This is first step generally we do in your Power Queries. And followed by you can add as many as operations. Okay. And where you want to load this data? I want to load this data. There's a destination here. You can see there's a destination here. I want to load this data destination in the warehouse. Right now, there are only 3 to 4 connectors are there for only data flow purpose. Maybe in coming updates, you'll get more connectors. You have more, I guess. Yes, we have more connections right now. Only this many connectors we have. In coming further, we'll have lot of other connectors also. Earlier, there are 2 options, lakehouse and warehouse. Now it is added many other connectors. Yes, it's keep on adding back and don't worry. So before going through this process, before going to add this one, first what we will do, we will create the data warehouse first, because loading no use. First we will create the component call in the workspace, in our Vinetech workspace or demo workspace. Here we will add, see how many work items we added here. This many work items. We added data flow, we added data lake. Now I want to add the data warehouse. So this is my data warehouse. Okay, for Vinetech demo. Right? Now inside this one, see how easy, how quickly we can manage it. How easy and quickly we are managing this for data warehouse. You no need to set up separate license for that. Easily we can manage. You can build your solutions, you can load your data, you can process it, you can query it, many structure format. So let's see here let's go back to our data flow. Data flow, where is the data flow here? In the data flow, let's target to our warehouse. Target to our warehouse. Click continue. Click continue. So what is the warehouse? Warehouse data warehouse underscore Vinetech demo. Okay. Inside this, I want to add my data. Okay. Click continue. So there are 2 options: append and replace. Incremental process or append process. How you want to do? Whether you want to get it incremental, whenever it changes in your data lake, automatically it will get incremental process by replacing it, overriding it, or append it also. You can do that. Okay. Accordingly, we need to select, click next, and process. So it is done. Can we see the data in the data warehouse? So first we will run this one. We'll save and we'll execute. So we will process it first. So where you can see the processing, either you can get a notification or you can go to the monitor tab. This is everything you'll get in detail level, in process, in detail, in time, when you are executing everything, it will show you. So processing your data from the data lake to your data warehouse. Okay, whether success, fail, everything, it will give you in the monitor tab. This is like a job agent. Right? It works like an agent process. Okay, so you no need to have a separate tool. Easily you can manage in the monitor tab. Easily you can do the automations, pipeline one by one, so you can execute in your Fabric. Okay, let's see, data is getting processed. Can I see in the warehouse? Where is my warehouse? Data warehouse here. Can I refresh once? Let's refresh. So you may have one more question who come from the SQL background, sir. How can I connect this in my SSMS? I want to do some performance tuning, query other operations. Yes, definitely there is an option called connect to the SQL server, or we have a SQL endpoints. With that, you can connect it. I'll show you going further how to do that. Okay. With that, see, I got a table. The process was success, and I got a table. In my data warehouse. Can I see the data? Now it is a proper structured data, which data warehouse maintaining it. See? So this is one way of processing your data by using data flow. Now, sir, tell me the other process. Yes, now you can do by using your ETL also, data factory also. Can you see here? Let's go to add one more work item. Let's add one more work item. Where is my Vermont work item? How to add? Let's go back to a workspace, demo workspace. Vinitech demo workspace. We added this many work items. I'm going to add one more workspace. What is that? Data pipeline. Where is the data pipeline? This is a data pipeline. So this data pipeline is again trying to load the data from where to where? From data lake house to data warehouse or anywhere, wherever you want to go or wherever you want to load. Okay. For that, I'm creating one pipeline. What is this pipeline? This is a data factory pipeline. You don't take a separate services for that. You remember I just shown you the in a portal called Azure portal.azure.com. Here we created it, right?
Yes, sir.
In my project here, I was created data factory. In this data factory, we developed. I think here only I developed it. Yeah. This is processed. No need to separate pricing. No need to separate pricing. See, in the data factory version 2, we have a lot of other features: Power Query, data flow. Data flow. This is data flow Gen 1, which added with the transformations part. Yes, everything is there in this one. You have a triggers part. You have a concept integration runtimes. See, this is asking Microsoft introducing the data factory in a Fabric. Yes, this is what we are creating in a form of pipelines, mounting, loading the data. So here in our Fabric, we have a concept called data pipelines. Now this is my copy data activity. You can add as many as activity. This is what called canvas. So we are adding this into the canvas or workspace. This is my Power BI. Sorry, this is my Fabric account where I'm adding my data factory pipelines. Now similar kind of picture which you see here in your Azure portal, the same thing you can see here. Sir, where is the other components? You want to see other components? You have many activities. See, many activities. This is not sufficient. Which activity you want? Tell me. All the activities, even you can run your notebooks. You can get the data. You can get alerts, notifications directly through your Teams to your office or your email. So these are all activities you're going to cover in detail level, one by one, step by step. This is all like data engineering process. So, sir, tell me the report, how you can develop the report. You may have a question before going to this one. Can you develop the report with the data lake? Yes, definitely I can develop the data. Whatever data I'm having in the data lake, warehouse, okay, data lake house. So this is my data lake house. So you can see by default, there was a semantic model was developed. You no need to develop it. By default, a semantic model was developed. In generally in Power BI, you will developing with the relationship if you have a multiple tables. Can you develop the report with this already which have there in the data lake? Yes, the people who want to work on the data lake, they can develop the reports also. Directly you can connect, do it. In the Fabric only, not required separate component, not required desktop. You can do that. Simple. How you can do that? Let's do the reporting in the data lake house. I'm doing it, guys. In the data lake house, I'm doing it. New report. Yes, with a semantic model, I'm developing a new report. Which report? Power BI report. Okay. Click on continue. Simple. Sir, after loading the data, I want to connect and do. Yes, that also you can do that. There's one more option. Can you see the desktop feature? It is in the portal, guys. It is in the portal. Can you see here? It is in the portal. So what I want to do analysis on some pie chart, some multiple graphs. I want to do country-wise the sales I want to analyze. Country-wise sales. Similarly, I want to add some chart line which show you the country-wise their counts.
And
Country-wise their counts.
what about the transformation part? What we are going to do in Power BI desktop version through Power Query and another the relationship. Those we can't do it here.
So some features may not do. That is what we have a semantic model. You can do in the semantic model earlier. In semantic model, you can do in the data flow concept, you can do the all type of queries. Okay, let me save this query. Where is that? This is my
So
Power
adding
BI.
to here, like earlier, we cannot do any modifications for the data lake, right? For example, we
I'll
cannot.
come to your all your questions. Just give me 1 minute. What is that report, right? I'll come to all your points. I understand what you people are asking me. Sir, already the desktop have multiple options here, right? This is what you may have people confusion. So everything, all the options are right now, it is not given in this one. But in case you want that Power Query and all, you need to go to the data flow concept. There's a Power Query. This is what your people are asking, right?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
sir,
that's only I'm asking that in data flow we have the Power Query, but in Power BI app that is not integrated.
Yes, it is
Either
not.
we can do it in data flow, else we can
Okay.
download it that data flow and create the data set through Power BI desktop.
Exactly. So you're not required again in the Power BI. Why we require Power BI? Already we have a data flow concept, data factory concept, do the modeling, do the loading process, then simply keep it report neatly. Not required any junk modifications and all in the Power BI report. We want simple report. We want dashboard report. I don't want lot of things are integrated in the Power BI. Now people are what you people are doing is if your Power BI developers are what they are doing it, everything they are doing in the Power BI. Power Query they are doing it. What we call they are doing transformations part. They are doing the filtration part. They are adding step by step, multiple steps. They are adding it. If anything steps got failed, entire your report will gone. I want to keep simple report, simple query. If you want to do this all operations, do in the data engineer process only. You want to do everything. Why can't you do here only? You develop everything here only. You manage everything. Microsoft Fabric giving everything to you. Do it everything. Data flow, transformations, Power Query. But when it comes to the semantic, it should be a proper model and the reporting should be done. No kind of transmissions to be applied here. No filtrations to transmission. I'm not saying Power BI is a loading tool. It is not a loading tool. It's just for a reporting purpose that people do the transmission, nothing else. Okay. So got a clear idea, right? So you need to do the data flow concept or reporting concept. So
earlier we cannot do any sort of like reporting, or we cannot write any query in data lakehouse. But from data lakehouse to the data has to move to data lake to data warehouse. From data warehouse, we will be writing the queries, and from that we'll be pulling the report. Is it, sir?
yes,
Now we
correct.
can do directly pull the reports, and I mean we can get the reports in data lakehouse itself at the very
Exactly.
first stage. So that's the
Exactly.
advantage of Fabric. Would you?
And also advantage is not, you don't need to go to the data warehouse. Why can't you directly work with the data lakehouse only?
Okay,
Here
okay.
only I
Instead
develop
of
the,
creating the multiple pipelines, just we are going into the source and we are using it.
correct. So here the problem is what is happening now. It is one data is okay, one data set okay. If you have a multiple data regions, how you are managing it? That is what we are talking about now, the pipelines. We will bring this data to the data lake and we'll do some basic transmission. So generally we follow some medallion process. There you have a silver, bronze, gold layer. This is all nothing but these are earlier models only. So in 90s also we follow that same model. People now they're saying silver, gold, and earlier models only we're doing it. So you people have been heard about staging area, EDW layer area, or what we call data warehouse area. So first we stage the data, we clean the data, we move to the here pre EDW layer, then data warehouse layer. So same model in our data warehouse concept, they are calling like a bronze layer, silver layer, or gold layer. So what generally we're doing, the as per the data lake house, we are entire data we are loading into a bronze layer, and then from there we are filtering it, and then whatever required data is there, we are keeping in the gold process. So just they are given with a name called this method they are following it right now in the data lakehouse. Okay, but don't worry, we'll discuss in detail level those things. But right now, what I'm trying to say you is you don't need to develop any sort of kind of transmissions inside your Power BI. Keep it neat there. In case, sir, I want to do then do it in the data flow, do it in the data lakehouse or Power BI in the what we call data factory. You can do the transmissions part. All right, so let's see here where we are in the visualizations, the model. In Power BI, you're developing a model. You don't require model here. You can directly, when you create a data lake, here only you can give a relationships, multiple relationships. You can give it 1 to 1, 1 to many, many to many, or however you want. You can set up here only instead of Power BI. Okay, I'm not saying you cannot do in that level, but before going to Power BI, everything model also we are making ready it. Even for the data warehouse also you have an option. In data warehouse also you have an option semantic model. You can see the model layout. Right now I have only one table. Right now I have only one table. I can do the reporting also from there. So this is how we can manage in your data warehouse and data lakehouse. So same thing, if I want to load the data, which is coming from the another place, we can use by using the data pipeline. So this data pipeline, which is multiple sources, again, we can create a sources here. Let me create one source here. So what is your stores? Let's take a Vinetech demo. This is a data warehouse, this is a lake house. Okay, from lake house, I am selecting the file. Which file? Let's take a file. Let's browse that file. Do you have any option to browse? Let's see here. In the lakehouse, we have a directory, sample data, right? Inside the multiple files are there. Which file you want to process? Let's example again. I'm loading the country data. Okay, but I'm loading now. This time I'm loading where we are loading in the target. Where is your target? This is my delimiter file. Which format it is? It is a delimiter format. You want to see the preview data? Just preview it. Whether the file is correct or wrong, it will show you. See data, top records, top 10 records. And then target, where you want to load? I want to load in the data warehouse. From there, I want to do the reporting. Do you have any table? Yes, yeah, I have a table. I have an existing table, but I don't want to load in existing table. I want to load in the other table. Which table? I want to create auto table, which is I'm going to give a finance schema, and I'm going to write a table name as finance data. Finance data. That's it. Can I run this one? How to run this one? Let me first save it here. Let's go to the home button. First, I will save this model because this is auto save also. Sometimes it auto save. If you want to save, and you can save it properly and run it. Simple way. Now this is going to load from lake to. I have shown you through data flow. I'm showing you this data factory also here to be placed based on your requirements. From here to here, we are loading it. And from to here, I'll show you the Databricks also. By using the notebook connectivity ML model, we can develop it here. I'll show you in bit moment. I'll show you that also. So that is what everything are integrated in your fabric. So these are the individually tools right now in the market. Your data factory is individually requirements are there. Databricks is separate requirement. Data warehouse separately is requirement. Database is separately. Warehouse is separately. Lake is separately. Now everything they're asking in one single person can manage everything. End-to-end solution in one single capacity. Okay. So this is processed. Clearly it is processed. Can we see the data? Yes, you can see the data. I'm going to now the data warehouse. Let me log in from here, data warehouse. I'll just go and see the schema here. What is the schema we created? Finance, right? Do we have any schema with the DBO, finance? Let me refresh first here. Yeah, we have a refreshed. We have a finance. Inside of, we have a table. We need to have a table. Let's refresh. We have a finance table. Yes, this is my data. Can you go to the new query and do the top records? Yes, this is my data. And here only you want to do some basic analysis. You can do some basic analysis. You can write a query. Or I want to run this in your reports. Reports also you can run. You can connect and you can work on the reports. Or similarly, you want to analyze the data in a form of notebooks. That is a Spark notebooks by writing some Spark language or Python libraries. You can use through notebooks also. And these notebooks can be called in the data factory also. So whatever the code you write. So this is my notebook, Spark notebooks. And from which data? So this is we generally use for the big data purpose. Okay, big data workload. Skip tour. So now I can add either the your lakehouse. I can connect. Sorry, I don't want to create. I want to use the existing lakehouse. So what is the existing lakehouse? Here is Vinetech lakehouse is there, but we want to connect data lakehouse Vinetech demo. This is my recent one. This is my recent one. Now there are files, Delta Lake files, sample files, other files. Just I am going to drag and drop here. You no need to even write a Spark Python libraries or a language, SpicePath. Sometimes, yeah, you have to write everything is not in the UI base. Some basic levels you have to do it. And you can run the cell. So this is like a frame, it works, data frame we call. So you are calling directly through path. There is a file, I'm reading it by using your Spark Python libraries. Okay, that is SpicePath we call. So similarly, if you are not aware of this one, if you know basic SQL also, you can do this one. Okay, basic if you know, also you can do this one. So as I said, you have a comparison, have prepared the document, you can use this one. So you can use, see here, you can use display, select star from. How you are using the select star from? Here we use select star from the process. So you need to create a one more cell here. You will create a cell. So here, just when you move it, you go down. Let me go down. New code, and you can execute. Okay, that is a Spark language. So if you want to change to SQL, you need to change to SQL also. Okay, it works on SQL also. So same data you want to run on the data frame as a SQL temporary table you want to create. Yes, you can create temporary table also. So the moment you double click and write as a SQL, you can see it will change to SQL, Spark SQL. If you remove this, by default, it will be a Python PySpark process. So similarly, if you want to create a table, you just need to write this command. What is a command? This data frame, whatever the data frame data, we store it in one variable. It's going to create a replace one table. That is, the table is some employee data or customer data. Sorry, let me write employee data. Okay, it creates the employee data. And how you're going to write this employee? Similarly, like again, I'm going to take one more code. That is one more code. Here I'm going to write percentage SQL. Okay, so that it will change to Spark SQL, and you can write it SQL and execute. See, same SQL language, but you're using the Spark frameworks, and you want to do some modification here. Yes, you can do modifications also. So you want to fiction, you can select star from. So before that, you need to write this percentage SQL, and then you need to use star from, what is it? Star from employee, before employee, country wise data. Okay, where is the country? Country wise sum of their amount as revenue, and the group by 10. Okay, let's execute. And similarly, you want to do the analysis here. I want to do the analysis in some graph, in some picture. Yes, you can do that. You have the option. You can do whatever you require. See the data. It's showing you how it is working. Similarly, in a table level also, you can see that in detail level information. You can download it, you can move in the JSON format, or you can develop a new chart also, which is equivalent to your average. I mean, that is revenue counts it's showing. No, sir, I want to select my data points differently. You can select the data points. That is what people are asking, the data bricks. You can do everything there also. ETL process, reporting process, managing the data lakes, Delta Lake also there. So these all are integrated in your Fabric technology, Fabric service. Clear? So you can add, you can save these notebooks. You can save this notebook, and you can call this in your data factory also, one by one step. One by one step you can call. That is called notebooks. You can call that one by one step a notebooks. You can call it. We can call it that one by one step. You can call that notebook, which is notebook. What is the notebook name? My notebook name here is notebook one. So this is my demo notebook. You can write a rename some demo Vinaytech Spark notebook. Okay, for demo. that you can call in your pipelines. Clear? Refresh and you'll get this one. So this is how we will manage not only one workspace, you have many other workspace, many other topics we're going to cover one by one in detail level.
Sir,
Okay. So earlier model, let me show you earlier model, how we are planning it. This is my earlier model, data engineer process, which I am going to explain to my morning batch people. This is the earlier model. This is one of the Olympic data analysis. Okay. So which is happening in Tokyo. Okay. So this is something like data, which is we are to develop this data engineer project. You need to take data sources separately, data factory separately, data lake separately, data bricks notebooks are separately, then transformations are doing separately, your Synapse workspaces are separately, analytics model separately, data semantic model you're doing separately. Then finally you're taking Power BI also at the end of, you need to take a license of that. When you go with the high capacity, you don't require Power BI license. It will come in between the capacity. So now this all together performed as Fabric. This all together performed as a one fabric, one component. Like earlier, how you have MSBI, everything you're doing in MSBI. Now, similarly, like Fabric came in the picture. So it is not like compulsory, guys, you're going to work in on everything in company real time. When you go to the MNCs, your work model is only this one, you will work on this model. You work on this model, you'll work on this model. But we have to right now, market is demand is want the person who have full skills. Just having a Power BI is not going to work for your job. You take a primary skill, no problem. Take a primary skill, very easy tool, a drag and drop feature, everything you can do easily. You take a primary skill. But secondary skill, you need to have all this knowledge. Otherwise, what is happening in data engineer, you don't know anything. If anything, data issues, you will route to this team, data engineer team. Your job is to just route you don't know what is happening in background, then very difficult, less jobs without having the data engineer process, without having the data factory knowledge. Okay. All right, so we have prepared this course. So almost it is 2 months course, guys. Okay, very long, lengthy course because every components we are
so
covering.
whether Jupyter Notebook and PySpark Notebook are the same or the different one?
I didn't get you what?
Jupyter Notebook and PySpark Notebook are the same?
Oh, that is different. This is different. This is a Spark, completely different notebook, and that is different. So the Spark frameworks are attached in your Fabric. That is open source other company. Open source Apache Spark is separate company which is attached with your Fabric. Similarly, in your Azure also we have concept with the Databricks. Databricks also they're using Spark informations. Spark Apache Spark cluster they're using inside Databricks. So that is same thing implementation here. Now you have a less market on Databricks now because of the Fabric. They integrated everything with the reporting. Okay, so this course will be a 2 months. Everything in detail I'll explain. First, I'll take you over the Azure. We'll talk about some components because a lot of jobs on Azure. What is Azure? We're only talking about the data engineer, guys. Okay, data engineering process we are only talking about. And then I'll take you to Fabric Microsoft completely in detail level. There also we'll discuss about data engineer, data processing, data ETL. The reporting also I'll cover the Power BI. Some level of I'll cover because again Power BI 2 months classes. So mostly I'll take 1 or 2 week classes of Power BI. Okay. In detail level, we cover it, all the components. So the next year is all right. So I hope everyone shared your details. Anyone missed out, so please provide details. I'm going to collecting